Hello and welcome back to the reading vlog. I'm gonna start this one up here just because I just finished work and I thought why not start it here. I will give you a reading update later on. I did start Justin Cronin's The Passage yesterday and I think I'm 70 pages in. It's like, it brings a lot of memories back, but yeah, I will give you more in-depth update once I read a little bit more in a minute. Well, probably more like in 2 hours, but Yeah, what did I do on the weekend? I did finish a third coaster. I could make way more of these, but to be honest, I'm a person, I start a lot of different projects at once and then just, work on them parallel. And so, yeah, I finished my third coaster, so I nearly have a set. I don't know, I think I will make like 4 per set, and then I will make 1 set for me and 1 set for my mother. And yeah, I have 3 so far. Then I tried another pattern, but it looks really bad. I don't know, I think it's the yarn I'm using. This yarn, technically it's the exact same yarn as this one, just in a different color, but it just doesn't seem to work the same way. I have no idea why, probably because I'm really inexperienced and don't know what I'm doing, but So yeah, I did that one. I also did a ghost that is downstairs, so I can show but it was supposed to be a coaster. It's just way too small to be a coaster. It just doesn't really work. So yeah, that one will probably just a silly little decoration that I can hang up. And then the last thing that I did is I worked on my jacket. And as you can see, if you can see, but yeah, I am now really far along with the first sleeve. I have quite a few rows left, but I think it's just like 16, maybe like 18 rows left, and then I have to do the ribbing on the sleeve. And yeah, my plan was to finish that today, but I don't know if I will have enough time to do that. If I don't, I will continue tomorrow with that. It's a long project, which is why I do smaller projects on the side, But yeah, that is pretty much all of the updates for right now. Also, I do need to start uploading Instagram stuff again. I have a hard time keeping up with Instagram, but yeah, I have a lot of books lying out that I have to take photos with, so I can upload them to Instagram as reviews. So yeah, I might need to do that, but maybe tomorrow. I don't know, I don't really want to do it today. But yeah, that is the plan, so I will do that now. Okay, I set you up as best as I can because, as you can see, he takes a nap on my lap when I go and sit down here, and I really don't want to wake him up yet. He's a lap dog, he's a 35 kilogram lap dog, which, yeah, I can't feel my legs anymore, but that's fine. But yeah, so we'll have to do this check-in like this. I hope it's fine. But I did want to do a check-in on The Passage. I'm 120 pages in now. I just had a good point to stop, and I need to, hang the washing up and stuff, so I do need to take a break right now. But I think it's so funny. I probably think a lot of people will not like this book for the slowness of it. Obviously, it's a massive book, and it starts out slower than most books, but I really, really like that. But also because I've already read the book, or at least most of the book as far as I can remember. It brings up a lot of memories, I read a sentence and I'm like, oh yeah, that is how it is later in the book, So it's funny rereading it, kind of, because I just remember snippets of the book while reading other sentences. And yeah, they are spoilers technically, but obviously I've read it myself, so they aren't really spoilers. I should know what happens, but I don't really. So it's a really weird mixture. But at the moment we have pretty much 3 kind of points of views. Not 3 people who tell the story, but 3 points of views. One is the military complex where our creatures are held, and that is pretty much there we have pretty much the guy who's in charge, or like as far in charge as people who are there. Then we have the one who's directly under him, and then we have some people. They're actually criminals. They hired, but yeah, they are hired by them, and they help out there. They sweep stuff. They go into the cells of the creatures. They were humans once, but now they're creatures. They help there, and so that is one point of view pretty much. And then we have our detectives who are out there, who are supposed to hire convicts for the experiments, the military experiments that are done here, and they are now supposed to kidnap a little girl that doesn't have a footprint, pretty much. That and so we have that point of view, and then we have the little girl and the nuns where she's currently staying, and previous to that the mother, but most important, the little girl, and that is the third point of view we have the story from. And pretty much it's more or less like a parallel, well, not parallel, but we have like a little bit of story from the girl, then we have a little bit of story from the detectives. But it's pretty much also time-wise later, like we rarely have like parallel times. It's more like we have the first 6 hours of the day from the girl, then we have the next 6 hours of the day from the detectives, and so on. You know what I mean? So yeah, that is pretty much how the story is told at the moment. I think that will change. At some point, I think we will get the point of view from the creatures, and I do know that the girl and the detective at some point find together, but he doesn't. But he will not bring her to the compound because he obviously thinks it's false to experiment on a little girl. But yeah, we're coming to that later on. Also, I don't think these are spoilers. The book is 13 years old, 14 years old, so I don't think I have to put up a spoiler warning here. But I will in this vlog talk about the story of the book. So if you don't want that, you probably should skip the vlog. But I kind of want to talk about the story. But yeah, so I think it's really interesting. I really like the little girl. She's just afraid. She has gone through a lot. She has a lot of neglect. Her mother tried to do the best, but she got in with the wrong people, and then she killed somebody in self-defense, but obviously she's afraid of the police because she did sex work to somehow have money to feed her little girl, and obviously she's afraid, and so she gives the girl to the nuns and vanishes. And the nuns try to take care of her, especially one nun who thinks she hears the voice of God. I don't know what she really hears, but yeah, she kind of hears the voice every now and then, and that gives her clues. And so yeah, she takes care of the little girl. She's really nice. And then you have the detectives who are I don't know. The one is the main detective. He's called Wolgast, and the main reason why he doesn't want to bring the girl to them is because his little daughter died of an illness, and it pretty much wrecked his marriage. And his wife now has a new partner, and she's pregnant again, I think. And so he suffered a lot as well, and then he's supposed to get this little girl and bring it to a military camp for experiments, which I don't think he knows what the experiments are about, but obviously he senses that there's something wrong. And they kind of want a child because they are of the opinion that the experiment will go better the more innocent and young the human body is, which is really, really wrong. But yeah, and then we have the creatures who were humans. They were an expedition that went into the Bolivian jungle, and under a virus that kind of heals you up, and it's kind of a vampire virus. They describe it like that. And so yeah, the expedition kind of goes wrong, and the main guy from the expedition comes back changed. And so yeah, they now have these creatures that they give them rabbits to eat, but they are vampires technically, in a sense. They pretty much lose all their hair, have extreme regeneration abilities, and their teeth fall out like a dozen a day or something like that. But they are vampire teeth. So yeah, I don't know. They are really, really interesting creatures. And now we're at the point where the main creature starts talking to one of the orderlies that kind of like clean out their cells and stuff. And all of these orderlies are actually child predators who were, well, they are kind of castrated with pills, which in the book makes them like really, really docile. But yeah, they all suffer from nightmares that are kind of like, but I think the creatures are responsible for the nightmares, or pretty much the main creature, who is the first one, and then they infected other people, the convicts that our detective gets together. They infected them, and so I think at the moment they have 11 or 12 of these creatures. But yeah, that is the point where I am right now. And I do really enjoy the book, I have to say. I know that it's, I don't know, it has 4 stars on Goodreads, so it isn't like the worst rated book, but there are definitely, like, people who like it and people who don't like it. Let's just say it like it is. And I do really enjoy that book right now, and to be honest, I'm really glad that I remembered that I owned it, and that I am rereading it, and I do think that I should go out and buy the second and the third book. I think there are 3. There are at least 2, that far I know. And I know that the second one is called The 12th. Or The 12th. 12th? The 12th? I don't know the right word, but something like that. So yeah, I will now do some home stuff, hang the washing up and stuff. So yeah, I will now, I don't know, snuggle a little bit more with the dog and then do the washing and all of that stuff that needs to be done. So yeah, this was kind of a long check-in. Hopefully I can cut it down a little bit, but yeah, I will see you probably tomorrow. Let's do reading update. It is Wednesday and I did some reading. It has taken me a little while, but this is a massive book, so to be honest, I think it's fair that it's taken me a while. But yeah, I am now at part 3, which is called The Last City. And what I think is it's kind of funny, I told you I wasn't sure if I finished this book or not. I found the bookmark I used, and I'm now exactly at the point where I stop reading, it seems, because I left a bookmark in there. So I'm pretty sure I never finished the book, which is kind of interesting. I could have sworn that I've read way more, but I don't think I did. And another thing that ages this one quite well is that this is a movie stub from 10 years ago, from the first Hobbit movie. So I will put it back in the book because, I don't know, I like kind of small keepsakes like this. But yeah, so I'm now 1/3 through the book, roughly. 320 pages. And I really liked this book. It is a really sad book. But I don't know, where was I when I gave you last check-in? Oh, the 2 detectives. They had Amy. They drove with her, and both of them really struggled with the fact that they were supposed to bring her to the facility. And so they decide to not do that and to drive to the next police station in the next town and pretty much like give themselves over and be like, yeah, here we are the ones who kidnapped the girl. And so they do that, but then the people from the facility come, kill all of the cops that are there because of witnesses, and take both of the agents and Amy to the facility. And then Amy gets infected with the virus, and because she doesn't seem to get better, but she's nearly dying, they get Volgast, the one she kind of bonds more with. They get him, and he pretty much stays with Amy until the escape happens. And so then pretty much all of the facility staff start dreaming, like really bad dreams. And then one day, because of the abilities our creatures have, they made all of the ones who cleaned their cages and stuff open all of the cages, and so yeah, they all get out. So there are 12 of them out there now, or 13, I think 12 or 13. It might be 12 of the main group and then one leader, so 13 in like common. But yeah, so they are out now, and obviously that is a problem for humanity. But yeah, so humanity is now kind of dying because they just kill them, the creatures. They are inhumanly strong, they have sight to be able to look in the dark and stuff like that, so humanity really has no chance. And so yeah, they do that. They kind of try to kill them with everything they have, so there's also a little bit of like fallout and stuff, you know. And so at the end of this chapter, Vorgast actually dies. He manages to survive with Amy and he cares for her, but he gets some wounds in the progress and they get infected and he starts having really bad symptoms, who could be the sickness, the virus that turns some people and then pretty much just killed the others, or it's just the infection in his leg and the radiation. He doesn't know, but he's dying and Amy is gone. He doesn't know where she is, but she's just gone. And so yeah, the next chapter, the last city, I mean, probably obviously about the last city that is still standing. And what I didn't know, because I never got to this point, is that now we have like some like multimedia pieces, pretty much like posters and cards and stuff like that, maps and stuff like that. So yeah, I never knew that because I didn't come that far. So I'm really interested to see where this is going. I will continue tomorrow. Yeah, I will continue tomorrow with a good bit. Then I did also edit tomorrow's video. I just have to upload that and do the thumbnail and stuff like that, which I will do in a minute once I'm done here. And I bought a new game yesterday, so I will go now and do some gaming, just because I can, to be honest. And I will check in with you with a big reading update, hopefully. Okay, so it is Thursday now. Yeah, I think it's Thursday. I wanted to give you an update. I'm chilling up here because it's just, I don't know, too warm to sit down there. I continued with the passage. I'm now at page 400, so still not halfway through. I have no idea if I will manage to finish this book this week, but that's another topic. I get now why this book doesn't have better reviews, and I'm kind of sad about it. Where I left off yesterday was the point where, up to which I remembered the book, and yeah, I haven't read further, like never, which is kind of, I don't know, I didn't remember that I never finished it, but yeah, since that point, it's just recapping, well, not recapping, it's the story of what happens after, but Amy, the girl, hasn't come up again, but I would like to hear more of her, so I'm a little bit sad about that. And now we have like 90 years have gone by, something like that, and we hear about the people in the last city, at least as far as they know they are the last city, and it's in California on top of a mountain, and the military built a compound there, and they took all the kids out of Philadelphia and brought them there, and now it's 90 years later, there are only 89 people left, because even though they built like a fortress there, it couldn't prevent all of the jumpers to come in. They call them jumpers now. They also are called vampires and stuff like that, but because they like to jump, they call them jumpers, so I'm gonna stick with jumpers from now on. But yeah, so they did get a few of them. They had one happening of a dark day, well, it's called a dark day, where they came in and they killed 160 people. So yeah, they are pretty much decimated now. They do still have some animals, and yeah, they can live there. But now, and that is the point where I just stopped reading, they have, well, at night they put on like massive lights to prevent the jumpers from coming in, because they are light sensitive. I don't know, that never really came up before now, but they are light sensitive, like typical vampire stuff, you know. Um, and yeah, pretty much the batteries are dying and they have nothing to replace them with. They don't have any like solar panels or stuff like that because they can't go very far, obviously, because they won't survive the night. Because pretty much like a lot of people are now jumpers, because if you get bitten, there's a high chance you turn into a jumper. And yeah, obviously everybody who gets taken gets bitten most of the time. They rarely outright kill people, so they think at least that there are a lot of jumpers out there. And now the guys who are responsible for the light and who are responsible for the batteries are now thinking of what they can do, and they just found like a logbook about radio. And the radio of the retreat was dismantled 17 years after like shit went down, because too many people could hear the radio and would come, and obviously they didn't plan on having that much supplies, so they rather let the people die. Can have a discussion about that, you know. But yeah, so they rediscovered it now, and I think probably going forward they will try to build a radio to see if there's anybody out there, and we'll go from there. I'm guessing that there might be another city because Amy isn't in this city. Then again, does Amy still live? Probably. She was infected with the virus, but yeah, I would just love to hear from her again because she was the interesting part of the story, kind of, you know. And yeah, a lot of these people, they don't mean anything to me. We skip a lot of generations, like we look into two people, then two other people, all from the same two families again and again. But because obviously we don't get a lot of time with them, you don't really have any like rapport with them. I'm not really interested in the people because I don't know them, so that is kind of sad, you know. But yeah, other than that, it's still like an interesting post-apocalyptic story. But yeah, at the moment, it's pretty much just like, yeah, that is what we're doing to survive. I don't know. We'll see how it continues. Obviously, I still have a lot left to read, and there can still be a lot happening. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah, that is pretty much the update where I'm up to now. If I showed you, but I made another pattern for like a coaster, and yeah, I've now decided it's a peach. It's supposed to be a pumpkin, but the orange just doesn't read orange. It reads like really peachy. So yeah, these are now peach coasters, and I ordered myself some pumpkin orange to make some pumpkin coasters for obviously the next season, because fall is coming, even though it doesn't feel like it because we have 30 degrees again. But you know, I have my hopes up that fall is coming. But yeah, I find these to be really, really cute, to be honest. Okay, hi, we're gonna do a quick check-in on the ground because it just was better than setting the tripod up. But yeah, it is Friday evening. I had a really, really, really long work day today, which is why I really didn't have that much time to read, which means I probably won't finish it this week. I mean, I could still hope that I can manage it, but let's not promise anything. If I do manage to finish it on Sunday, I will include that and just make the vlog longer, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm now halfway through. Yeah, I'm at page 465, so I'm just over halfway through. And yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I don't give a fuck about the people that live in the last city. You just get so little of them and with so little context that I just really don't care for the people. But just about where I stopped today, Amy comes back into the picture, which is really interesting because there are like, I think like 80, 90 years gone by now, and Amy is now, at the beginning she was a 6-year-old girl, she's now a teenager, so whatever is happening to her, she is aging way slower than a normal human being. And yeah, she just rescued one of our people that live in the city, in the last city, and she rescued him, and now we get her back into the picture and her point of view again. And yeah, she's pretty much an in more or less like a dreamlike state she's coming slowly out of, and she doesn't really know what's going on. But yeah, hopefully the book will pick up and get a little bit more interesting again now. I'm really sad that the part about like the last city is so boring, to be honest, but it feels so inconsequential because we have 300 pages setting the story up, and then we get like 90 pages, 90 years in like 150 pages. It just really doesn't work out for me, to be honest. So yeah, I'm kind of sad about that, but I am hopeful that it will pick back up now. But yeah, I will continue tomorrow. Also, I'm nearly finished with the murder bot, so I will finish that tomorrow. It's a lot of fun, the series. Obviously, I have read the first one already, so I knew what is coming, but yeah, I really enjoyed that book. So that is a lot of fun. But yeah, that is pretty much what I have done, what I've read. I hate it when I'm disappointed by books because I didn't realize I didn't know all of it. But yeah, so I'm a little bit disappointed. Especially since I did want to read the whole series, and now I'm a little bit afraid. But hopefully, the 90 years that we kind of more or less skipped a little bit are the only ones, and now it's gonna go slower again because I really didn't like that time skip. So we'll see. But yeah, 450 pages still to go. It's so much. Since there is no way I will finish this book this weekend, I will end the vlog today. I have some thoughts about this book, and it's not that I'm totally negative about the book. I do like the book. There's just so many problems when it comes to the logic, at least in my opinion, that I'm kind of struggling a little bit with why he did that. I'm now a good chunk in. I'm 570 pages in. So that's actually not bad, to be honest. It's like, yeah, so I have 390 pages still left, which, oh my god, it's so much. So yeah, I think I will still need like 2-3 days to finish this book, to be honest. The thing is, Amy is now with a group of the survivors that live in the mountain thing, and everything is going to shits. But it's not because of Amy. And it's so weird because the whole camp managed to, for the last 90 years, to be relatively unbothered by the original 12 jumpers or vampires, whatever. And only pretty much every other human being that was turned is pretty much what was bothering them. But the thing is, out of nowhere, like, Amy comes into the camp, and that brings a problem with it because somebody opened the door, even though there were some jumpers outside. One jumper came in and killed the teacher, who is there to educate the children of the compound. And obviously the people take that really, really hard because the teacher is where the children live. And so the jumper could have easily killed the children. And it was also somebody who just recently was turned from the colony, so they also knew the jumper. And so they are obviously angry at the people who let that in and stuff, but you know, you have a feeling like all of them are really incompetent and kind of conspired against one another without ever being a hint there. You know, there's like, oh yeah, he doesn't like him because of like their fathers didn't like each other, you know, like the normal human emotion when it comes to other people. But all of a sudden, there's this conspiracy against some people and people banding together out of nowhere. There's never like anything that would tell you that beforehand. And then you have the whole Amy thing, and then probably the dreams are back. And Babok, one of the 12, is like willing the people to like shut the lights off, open the gate and stuff like that, so all of the jumpers can get into the compound, which makes no sense because they are living there over 90 years. Why would he wait 90 years only for Amy to come, who makes no difference at all? at least at this point in time, to then let the compound be overrun by jumpers? What logic is in that? And the dreams also never get mentioned up until the day where somebody nearly shuts the light off. Then it's mentioned like, yeah, he always had these dreams. Like, why haven't I heard of those dreams in the last 90 years? Why did I get so much book and not one example of the influence of the 12th originals on the colony, and then all of a sudden everything goes to shits because the influence was already there for a long time, as it seems. I just never knew that. Why would you do that, you know? It kind of makes me angry because, in my personal opinion, it's a logic mistake, you know? It isn't logical. Amy doesn't, like, show them anything, and our main character, the guy who's called Peter, he also hides facts about Amy, that her wounds heal really, really fast, and she has like a radio tracker in her from when the experiment was done 90 years before that, and stuff like that, you know. So he's kind of inquisitive, and he tries to find things, but you know, everything else just seems so nonsensical that I'm kind of annoyed. At the same time, I want to know what happens and how the book continues, you know. It's not like I lost interest in the book. I really desperately want to know where this is supposed to go. It's just, it has so many, like, illogical things in there. And because we skipped, like, these, like, 85 years, and then now have a little bit more time with the characters, we just missed all of the background pretty much. Like, we have, like, the rough layout of, like, the main families that lived there, and then maybe, like, a little bit why one didn't like the other. But we never get really, like, any, like, context to that. It's just like, oh yeah, my father didn't like his father, and so he doesn't want me to marry the daughter. Stuff like that, but you never get any background, you know? It's not like, oh, he tried to do that and that and that back then, and the other didn't like that, you know? We know that there was a conflict. We never get told what the conflict actually was, and it's really, really weird, you know? So yeah, I want to know where this goes, but I'm also at the same time annoyed at all of the, but at least my perceived, the logic problems I perceive in the book. Might be that other people find them not as illogical, but I get really annoyed by them, to be honest. So yeah, I'm now at a point where it pretty much, there seems to be a showdown because of Amy and the guy who opened the gate to let her in. Because now things are like coming up, and it seems like there are more or less like two camps in the compound, and they will go against each other. It seems like that. That is pretty much, you know, the next thing I need to read. And I guess the lights will be shut off because it's called the Battle of Stars and something else. But yeah, obviously, if they have this headlights on, they can't see the stars because it's so bright. So to see stars, they obviously had to shut off the light, and that's obviously really, really problematic. And so yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. Also, what I also really found to be interesting is that now we're getting told that there are people who are resistant to the dreams, which seems new. And I personally think the author did Wolgast dirty. The guy who more or less like rescued Amy and tried to, like, you know, help her survive and stuff, because she can't even remember him. She remembers there was a man, that is all. But I think he kind of did Wolgast dirty. I think it's not fair. It's the one character I actually felt something for him, except for Amy, and he died so early. It's really annoying, to be honest. So yeah, those are all my thoughts. The package that I just came to deliver a package from my husband, which is a really nice package. He bought some Lego insect statues to look at. They look really, really cool, and they have what it's called. I'm gonna put just the picture here. It's a rhinoceros beetle or something like that. My husband has one tattooed, and once the Lego set came out, he was like, I need that. And it just came, so we will be really happy once he comes back with the dog. But yeah, so that is everything. Like, what I think about the book right now. I'm a little bit disappointed that obviously the book isn't as good as I remembered it because I never finished the book. And the more I read, the less I kind of like the way the story is told. But I'm still really interested to see where it goes, and I do at the moment think I will definitely continue the series. At the moment, I'm really interested to see how it's supposed to continue, because I can't really imagine what is supposed to happen, you know. So yeah, but that is the end for this week's vlog. I'm sorry that there really wasn't that much that I've read this week. I still haven't finished with the Murderbot book. I still haven't finished. Did I read anything else? I don't think so. But yeah, so I still haven't finished with the Murder book because I'm currently playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland, if you know it. It's one of the Borderlands series games, and it's great. It's fantastic. And so I lost myself in that a little bit yesterday evening, which is why I didn't read or listen to anything. So yeah, that might happen again today, if I'm honest, because that game is just so much fun, and I have a lot of fun playing it at the moment. So yeah, but that is the reason why I did not finish a book this week, which is interesting, you know. But then again, I did read quite a lot of pages, so I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the progress I've made. So I will finish that next week. So you will have to come back for my final verdict on the book. But yeah, hopefully you still enjoyed the vlog. If you would like to, leave a like, subscribe. That means a lot to me, to be honest. And yeah, hopefully I will see you next week. Bye bye!